Today I was headed south as opposed to north, and it felt a bit strange heading south to go for a hike up a hill, and this is probably further south than parts of England, further over in the east. And I was headed to the Galloway Hills and drove down past Glasgow and Ayr and through Ayrshire, and I was headed for a hill called Carnsmore of Carsphairn. After a fairly long drive and picking my brother up en route via Glasgow, we eventually stopped at the small car parking space next to the cottage and set off up the Land Rover track towards the hill. Well, we're in a part of Scotland I've not been in before. We're in the Galloway Forest, and I've never really come down here before. It's the Corbett that I've not done that has made me travel south, and the weather for the rest of Scotland's looking pretty mince as it is from here. But we're starting from this wee well, Greenwell, just north of Carsphairn, and the hill we're going up is called Carnsmore of Carsphairn, and it's a Corbett in the Galloway Forest, and at the moment it's in the cloud. I don't think it's going to really improve very much. But we've come south, got my brother with me today.
Hello.
And we're going to go and have a wee hike up this hill and see if it improves. Not too sure if it is though, it's looking pretty miserable. But anyway, very nice. We'll see what we think of the Galloway Hills. Right, let's go. The Land Rover track was pretty good, and we headed up it, and it was taking us into the wee valley or corrie underneath the hill. And we headed up past many stone dykes, and these were a prominent feature all the way up the hill actually, and they must have taken quite a bit of manpower to build and get the rocks up there. Fairly impressive. We stopped for a bite to eat, and you can probably tell we're in the gloom now. We're not far from the bottom of the clouds, and I think we're going to be heading up into the clouds soon, away up that way. And what we've done is we've actually come up the glen. I'll spin back around here. This path comes right up the glen and then straight up the hill, and we've come that way, and then we're going to head back down the ridge like a clockwise direction. And initially we're going to go up the ridge and then back down this way, but we think the weather's going to improve. Fingers crossed. So we'll come up this way, stay under the cloud as long as possible, and then come back down the ridge. But that time we're hoping that this cloud level might have risen a wee bit, but we'll see. But so far so good. It feels very much like the Eastern Highlands, rolling hills of Eastern Highlands. Lovely. Not much to see. There's some brightness behind me, way down there. But yeah, so far so good. Anyway, we'll get a bite to eat here, and then we'll get cracked on again. We were soon at the end of the Land Rover track and started to head uphill using another stone dyke as a handrail, and knowing that this was going to take us close to the summit. And there was a faint path, and it was pretty gloomy. Well, as you can probably tell, we're ascending up the hill, and we're in the clag. It dropped down for a bit there, didn't it, Ross? The views opened up a wee bit, so we're hoping by the time we get round and back down the ridge it might have lifted a wee bit, but I'm not feeling very confident that we're going to get a view from the top. But it's not too bad. There's a nice dike here which is allowing us easy navigation. We're just following that, and there's a wee path up the side of it. And it's quite nice walking actually. It's nothing too strenuous. Nice soft grass. So far the Galloway Hills have been pretty good. All we need now is a view. Maybe when we get to the top we might get a view. Hopefully the devil's not waiting for us up there though. More about that later. Right, oh, wind's making me cry. Shall we crack on? As we ascended, the clag got thicker and the winds picked up as we gained height. But as we started to reach the summit, there was a little bit of brightness peeking through as the clouds scudded over the summit and maybe gave us some false hope. And false hope it certainly was. As we reached the trig point at the top, it was still pretty claggy, and those brief bright spells had dispersed and gone away into the clouds. So we had a decision to make. Would we wait here, or would we go over to the other cairn for something to eat? So we went over, shook our hands at the top of the trig point to say congratulations for reaching the hill. It wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. It was quite a short outing, maybe about 600 or 700 metres of ascent, but it wasn't too bad at all. And we did decide to head over to the cairn. There was more shelter behind that for a bite to eat. Well, we've made it to the summit of Carnsmore of Carsphairn, And as predicted, we're inside a cloud and can see pretty much bugger all, can't we, Ross? Not much to see at all. Every now and again it's brightening above us, but I don't think the cloud's going to shift. And it's pretty bleak, but we came up here, we never met the devil, and the story behind that is there's a local legend that in 1640, when they built the parish down at Carsphairn, the devil was so upset he was sat up here in a mood. In his anger he threw a boulder down but just missed the newly built parish. In reality it's just an erratic stone which was shifted by the ice. Probably a lot more slower than what the locals thought back in the time about the devil throwing that stone. So anyway, he's not here today. But it's a day where he could turn up because it's pretty bloody miserable. Anyway, we're going to get cracked on back down the hill now. There's not much to see. It's pretty breezy up here. Hopefully as we drop back down the winds will die down again and we might get some views on the way down. Time will tell. Anyway, shall we get cracked on, Ross? Yep. Yeah, let's go. So we headed off the summit. It was pretty breezy, and as we headed down the black shoulder we noticed the cloud hadn't really lifted much, so our initial plans of heading back down along the ridge were scuppered, and we just headed back down onto the Land Rover track and started to make our way back to the car. When, as right on cue, the clouds started to clear and we got a wee bit of sunshine and blue skies, which was nice. Shame it wasn't earlier on. So here we are back down and back at the well. I think that might be the well there, I'm not sure. And it was very strange, I must admit, coming south in the car this morning to go hill walking. I wasn't quite too sure what to expect of these hills, the Galloway Hills. But I can say after today, fantastic, absolutely loved it, great hill walking country. A bit like the Eastern Highlands or maybe the Ochil Hills on steroids, a lot bigger. We didn't get many views from the top, but certainly coming down, if I swing around you can see, we started to get some lovely views over the other hills of Galloway. So what a beautiful area, and I certainly will be back here, as opposed to just driving past it when we're coming north or south. And yeah, there's a fair few mountains here and a fair bit of walking for me to do here, but for just now it's time to get back to the car and head north, back home. So it'd been a good day all in all, and the Galloway Hills look fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to heading back. I managed to get some snaps when the cloud cleared, not too many, and soon we were heading back north via Glasgow and back home.